Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to present 10 more words and phrases that you can hear often in Marseille, which can be considered part of le parler marseillais, so the spoken language in Marseille. And I made a video a couple months back for part 1, this is part 2. I'll put the link up above if you want to check that out. And just to remind you, these words are used in Marseille, but it's not necessarily exclusive to Marseille. So some of these words have origins from Provence, so some of these words might be spoken in the southeast of France in general, not just Marseille. And especially if we're talking about Marseille, normally we're also talking about at least the cities in proximity within Les Bouches-du-Rhône, where Marseille is located. So that said, it's not only reserved for Marseille, depending on the words. So for the first word today is escagassé. And escagassé means to hurt, like blessé. So an example would be, je me suis escagassé would mean I hurt myself. Or, je l'ai escagassé, I hurt him or her. And it can also be in a figurative sense, or not a figurative sense, but it can also be in the sense where you're, gonna hit somebody over the head. Like if you're talking to a child and you say, oh, si tu te calmes pas un peu, je t'escagasse. Meaning like, if you don't calm down a little bit, I'm gonna hit you over the head, or I'm gonna hit you, or something like that. But it's more of like a, parent kind of play threatening their child to emphasize to calm down. So it's nothing necessarily serious. It can be, I guess, if you say to a rival or someone, si tu t'arrêtes pas, je t'escagasse. I guess it could be a bit more confrontational. If you don't stop, I'm going to hit you. So that's escagassé. Number 2 is se néguer, or negay. And negay means noyer, to drown. So it's an exact synonym that is in le parler marseillais, used in Marseille. J'ai failli me néguer means I almost drowned. Or il a essayé de me néguer, he tried to drown me. So that's néguer. There's also a second meaning for néguer. If it's in the reflexive se néguer, it can mean to stub, like your foot, for example. So, aïe, je me suis négué le pied. I bumped my foot, or I stubbed my foot. Normally in French we would say, je me suis cogné le pied. Or I think you could even say, je me suis tapé le pied, if I'm not mistaken. But in this case, je me suis négué le pied is the Marseillais way to say I stubbed my toe. Number 3 is le cafoche. The French equivalent would be cagibi, and it refers to a small room that's normally too small to do anything in. So it's normally like a storage room or a pantry, or maybe a room where you put your laundry machine and there's not enough space to do anything else with it. Basically a storage room, we could call it. In Marseille, myself included, I didn't know it was a Marseille word. I learned this as cagibi. We often say le cafoche. So if somebody says, où est-ce que t'as mis le balai? Ah, il est dans le cafoche. So where did you put the broomstick? Ah, it's in the storage room. Le cafoche. I think it's a fun word. Number 4, this is pretty popular due to pop culture and whatnot, so you may already be familiar with this word, Kaggle. Kaggle basically describes a Marseillais woman who is vulgar in her way of dressing or speaking. Normally it's a bit of both, so they're dressed a certain way, kind of vulgar, speaking very loudly, without any regards for those around her, normally very disrespectful, we could say. It's very subjective. I think if you asked 20 different Marseillais people on the street, what's your definition of a Kaggle, you're going to get more or less their own version of what a Kaggle is. But to make it simple, it's really somebody kind of dressed in a vulgar way, being very loud, and you can say, oh, regarde-moi cette Kaggle là. So it's like, oh, look at that Kaggle over there. So Kaggle. I think originally it referred to women of the night. So basically sex workers on the street, if I'm not mistaken. since then it's not necessarily tied to that. It's just tied to, as I said, if you know, a woman's talking very loud and in a vulgar manner and is dressing in a very flashy way or vulgar way, we could refer to her as a Kaggle in Marseille. So that's a good word to know in case you hear that about and you don't know what it is. Kaggle. Number 5 is a word used often to refer to children in Marseille, and it's the word Mino. Les minots is plural, the children. Les minots aiment souvent jouer au ballon à Marseille. Ou les minots de Marseille aiment souvent jouer au ballon. So the children of Marseille typically like to play football or soccer, as you will. Number 6 is Ompegay. I talked about pégay in the last video, which means coller, to stick. And I also mentioned je me suis fait empéguer. Se fait empéguer means to get a ticket from a police officer or a parking enforcer. But in this case, empéguer as an adjective, it refers to being drunk. So in French, we would often say bourré or enivré. We don't use that so much, but bourré we use a lot. So the French would often say je suis bourré. In Marseille, we could also hear je suis empégué. An example would be, oh, encore une jaune et tu vas être empégué. Oh. So empégué means drunk. This next one, number 7, is a word I like a lot, and it's you can use it quite a bit in Marseille because there's often a lot of noise, and that is le boucan. So le boucan is noise, and it's normally noise when referring to an unpleasant noise or excessive noise. So the French equivalent would be le bruit, but bruit could be any kind of bruit, whereas le boucan is normally in a negative way. So faire un boucan would be to make a lot of noise. So an example would be les supporters de l'OM ont fait un boucan dans la rue après la victoire hier soir. The supporters of OM made a lot of ruckus and noise in the street after their win last night. So that is faire un boucan. Number 8 is a word used to refer to the toilet or the bathroom for my American followers, and that is le cagadou. So an example would be où est Jean? Jean, il est au cagadou. Jean, il est au cagadou. He's in the bathroom. It's very familiar, or very like a popular word. No, popular in the sense that it's used in like a not a very classy scenario. So if you're in like a professional context, you wouldn't want to use cagadou at work or with people you don't know. But if you're with friends, my wife's grandfather, for example, loves to, or actually he almost always refers to the bathroom as le cagadou, which I think is a fun word, and I also use it sometimes, but most of the time when I'm using it, it's more of in a joking way. But it is a word that is used to mean the bathroom or toilet for UK viewers. And also to note, as I said in one of my previous videos, in French, les toilettes is plural. So if you say je vais aux toilettes, it's actually les toilettes. Donc, où sont les toilettes? Where is the bathroom or where is the toilet? But in this case, cagadou is actually singular, as is in English. So that's kind of nice. So le cagadou or au cagadou, singular. Je vais au cagadou, je suis dans le cagadou. Non, plutôt, je suis au cagadou. I'm in the bathroom. Number 9, I just learned this recently that it is Marseille way of speaking because I use this often with my wife and with friends, and I didn't realize that this isn't a way to use this typically French word in this kind of way, and the word is Tong. Tong is a French word. Oh, il y a tant de gens dehors, there's so many people outside. But for this context, the Marseillais context, they also like to use it at the beginning of the sentence to infer a possibility, like peut-être. So in French, we would say peut-être que demain on pourra aller faire du magasin. Well, the Marseillais people might use, or actually would, because I use it a lot and my wife does, and a lot of my friends do. Tant demain on peut aller faire du magasin. So tant demain on peut faire quelque chose. So in this case, tant replaces maybe. Or if we say peut-être qu'il a oublié, maybe he forgot. Well, the Marseille people would say, Tong, il a oublié. Tong, il a oublié. So that's a good word, and I use this a lot. So this is a very common expression. And again, it's perhaps not just Marseillais. It's probably, we could say, used in the southeast of France, or at least in the local region, of Provence around Marseille. And the last one, I don't hear this a lot. Perhaps I hear it more with older people, but it is a very good Marseillais word. Une brêle. Une brêle is the same as un idiot, un imbécile, bon à rien. Just a good for nothing person. Could be an idiot, could be a fool, could be a lazy person not doing anything in the way. So an example would be, oh, regarde-moi cette brêle qui ne sert à rien. So look at this idiot who's really good for nothing, or something like that. That's a really good word, and apparently its origin comes from the Arab word for mulet. I don't know how the exact pronunciation of the Arab word is, but it comes from the relations, the historic relations between Algeria, which was formerly a French colony, in France. So obviously you had French people today of Algerian origins that brought this word with them, and also I guess it was in the military that this was used. So you had people from the Algerian War between France and Algeria. So une brêle in that context would have referred to a soldier that was really an idiot or an imbecile or good for nothing, lazy guy. So that is une brêle. Alright, that's it for this video. I'm definitely going to make some more because there's endless amounts of fun words that can only be used in Marseille. So I'll definitely be making more. Please like this video if you enjoyed, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely leave your comments below so that we can discuss and share other examples of these words that I've shared with you today. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.